Welcome back to Good Marshall's Universal Podcast. I'm Dan Bernardo here with Keith Mosier and Bo Davis. So today, I wanted to talk about equipment.
I don't.
So here's the thing, right? Like I just recently shared a video of me using the Wing Chun wooden dummy, and I had a lot of people ask questions about it. Some people were like, I didn't know that Tang Soo Do people used the wooden dummy. I gave it a Korean name. I didn't give it a Korean name. I used the Korean pronunciation of the name that Wing Chun practitioners have given the thing, right? Which is woodman dummy, right? So a Mokginjang in Korean and Mukyeongjang in Mandarin, right?
And Cantonese.
No, Cantonese, not Mandarin. Mandarin is probably something else. And so I just thought I would ask, you know, because Good Martial is universal. We all use equipment to some extent, but I think one of the things that makes martial arts different is sometimes we use different equipment. So, like for instance, classically in karate, you don't use focus mitts, you don't use boxing gloves, you don't use fencing masks, you don't, right? Like, so, and then the Wing Chun dummy, even like if you think about the design of that Wing Chun dummy, there are different designs of that dummy. And not all Wing Chun uses the same dummy. And Bagua does not use that dummy, right? So so I guess the first question is what equipment do you use and why? Whoever wants to go first.
Use too much, it costs too much, and I gotta replace it too much, and it doesn't work half the time. They got a mask, got a gorget, got a jacket, got rigid protection on my bony bits, sometimes a cup, I forget that a lot. Shoes are optional, depending on where you're at. But you always gotta have a back and head protector on your fencing mask. You might as well invest in like a really good mask. That's the one thing. But gloves, I blow through gloves every 6 months. I've started buying older gloves because they hold up better than newer gloves. And it hurts, but it's fine. It's like whatever. I'll wear this piece of crap so it won't fall apart between now and then. But like we've had some actual issues in the quality of our stuff because like the Olympics or Olympic people that test like Olympic level equipment have like a monopoly on that, so we can't get our stuff really like tested and certified as like 350N or 800N, which is the Newton puncture rating on our jackets and masks and such. So a big issue we had, this was recent in Poland, this dude had a jacket and someone had a rapier, didn't have a tip on it, which I don't really think matters. I've blown through tips a lot. That's probably a me issue, but we're talking about Poland, they hit pretty hard. So these dudes are going in and they like double out. This dude skips across the dude's rib with this rapier that shouldn't have been allowed in the tournament. It was like too stiff and it looked like a bullet at the end, like it was horrible. It wasn't really a spatulated tip, but it went in his jacket, stabbed him like deep. And he had all kinds of swelling, and you see him on the video, he just kind of pulls it out, and I'm like, oh my God. We need some better jackets after that. This got me scared recently. We blew through the same bicep in another jacket the other day with longsword, and I went, it was a crappy jacket where it kind of like ripped because the forearm guards were holding it so tight, but it went in and out through the back, and I was like, all right.
So
we're in like proto-HEMA still. That's pretty much what's going on.
Right. So the equipment that you're talking about is safety gear.
Yeah,
right?
And the swords, the swords
Right.
have to be safe. We don't have much gear other than like a Pell to hit. That's our like heavy bag. But we could use a heavy bag. We put a mask on the bob. We use the bob in there.
Yeah.
I don't want to shear bob though, so I don't really mess with them too much. But like we've got different kinds of tips on swords. Some are rolled, some are spatulated. There's so much variety in like the fetter you can buy. You can buy a blunt and put a tip on it, and some tournaments allow that. But then you're fighting with a blunt sword. That's way different than like fighting with a fetter. I hate HEMA. I love it and I hate it. I don't know. It's just like it could be a lot of money for us just in like participation, like sparring and all that. And I try to make sure everyone spars. It's like you need to spar. You're going to competition. You need to play games. You need to spar. You don't need to be like drilled a million times unless you're like really, really struggling on one thing. Then yeah, you can go over that. But all my guys are learning through play, and it's thankfully because of that sparring equipment we have, and it does the job. Everything, even the swords, they have a certain flex on, a certain rating for flex depending on what you're doing. Harness fetting swords don't really have that, but as far as our fetters, yeah, we have pretty decent flex on them. I like stiffer flex generally, but I've used some floppier ones lately, and I've been loving that. You like scalp someone's overlay or something, and your sword's doing this. That's cool. But yeah, we just got like so many little things that we've got to look into, and maintenance and upkeep with our gear that it can be costly, but we can also add our own alterations and stuff for safety.
Right.
So that's a bonus.
So if you were to say HEMA, the way that you teach it, the way that you run it, you require all the gear?
Well, that's the lovely thing about the synthetics. If I don't have enough gear available that day, because I have the loaner gear that stinks up the place, but I think it's mainly my gear that's doing that after I pulled my jacket out the other day. But yeah, that gear's great, but some of it, like the jacket that got blown through, like that, you can only do synthetics in that now. That's a synthetics only jacket. But if you've got a thick enough hoodie, we can still put everything else on you, and you can still spar with the synthetics. I'm not trying to do it back in the day, like doing longsword in a hoodie like I used to. But Spez makes a 350 Newton hoodie, and people fence in that.
I used to fence with longsword the synthetics without anything except for a mask. But that was way back in the day.
Yeah.
We were stupid.
Well, the synthetics you have in there are nice.
Stupid. Yeah.
And they don't make them anymore, and they need to make them again, Zen Warrior. You need to make them again. You need to watch this and hear my pleas and my emails, the countless thousand emails. They told me they would put me in contact with the manufacturer, and they never did, and I'm really upset.
Yeah, well, those were good. Those were good synthetics, and they've lasted. I mean, I've had those Zen Warrior Armory synthetics for
Ever.
20 years, maybe, right? Long time.
I've only snapped like 2 in my life.
The only thing that breaks on them
much.
is so the tip will break sometimes, but like the cross guard will break. Like that's what breaks.
Well, the little
more
piece
than-
above it that keeps it in place?
No, I've cracked the cross guard in half.
Oh.
That's what broke for me most of the time. Not the actual, not the
That's
actual
weird.
blade.
Yeah, I need to get more. But if you see,
I used to do a lot of cross guard manipulation.
That's
so
why.
that's probably
Yeah, the freaking the Pinties or whatever, the floppier ones. Or that might not be the ones, but the Rawlings, I think it is.
Yeah.
They're kind of crap in a bind because they're so floppy. But
Yeah,
those,
they
if
suck.
they made those cheap, I'd buy those. I'd buy them up, But they can't make them at a good price where I can't. I can just go buy a sword, and it would last me longer. Like mine on the wall, I don't even take care of it. Well, it also, that one doesn't burr, which is awesome. So like I hit it and hit it and hit it, nothing's on there.
Yeah.
I'll create sparks, nothing's on there, but it'll rust and pit. But that sword's like 4 years old almost, and it's still kicking.
So I guess we could say that in HEMA, especially if you compete heavily,
yeah,
you need to have
a good job.
You have good gear.
Yeah.
So that the equipment that you're going to need, that you're going to be required, so to speak,
Yeah, and you're gonna have
good
to
good
invest
safety
in it,
gear, good sword, or a good synthetic with a lighter kit.
Some degree of safety
Yeah.
gear and like
And then maybe
knowing
something
what
to
safety
hit.
is.
Maybe a Pell, right?
A
Or
Pell's
some
good.
sort of Pell to
With
hit.
the kind of rule sets I'm running lately, a Pell's, I keep telling people to get a Pell and do like 90 seconds, 10 rounds on the Pell a day or whatever, because
Yeah.
that would be really good for their cardio if they're really swinging.
Yeah.
So that's another good reason to get a synthetic, because you don't want to beat up your sword because you're actually hitting something, you know?
Right, right.
So I don't know.
It reminds me of the old Jigen-Ryu. I mean, it's essentially just a pole, right? It's a Pell.
Yeah.
And they use bamboo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Big,
That
huge,
that
big,
gives me
huge
more
thing
ideas.
of bamboo.
We can just use Shinai. What?
Yeah.
We
Or
should
you
go
could
back
use
to the PVC cross guards on Shinai. The HEMA was better when we were like almost killing each other with bamboo.
All right. What about you, Keith? What equipment do you use and why?
Well, I was going to address your last question first.
Okay.
What equipment do you think you should use? Because it's easy to answer. You should use whatever works for you.
Yeah.
As long as whatever it is doesn't modify or alter what you're trying to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
What do I use? I mean, I use it all. Like, that was the answer. Right now in Wing Chun, and in terms of equipment, I'm discounting weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as you say weapons, you obviously have to have the weapon. So that's not like a piece of equipment that just hangs around. That is the thing you're training for, which makes HEMA a little different. You have to have a sword. Didn't even really need to talk about the swords because you couldn't do HEMA without it.
But they're
Technically,
made
you
as
can.
they're safety equipment in their own right, though. On how they're
Well,
made.
but you could do HEMA grappling.
You could do HEMA.
You don't need
You need a
swords.
ring and jacket.
You could do
yeah.
HEMA
You need a
grappling. But so
But yeah.
in terms of just plain Wing Chun, no weapons, and no conditioning considered, the only thing is the Mukyang Jong. As you said, there are a bunch of different kinds of Mukyang Jongs. I tend to stay relatively traditional. Some of the fancy pivoting, spinning Mukyang Jongs go to what I said about equipment not affecting what you do. For instance, a spinning Mukyang Jong, the idea is, oh, well, if I hit it and it spins, then I have to be prepared for it to come to the other side. Well, the only reason it would spin is because you hit it the wrong way to begin with. You hit it to the side so it would spin, and you don't. You should go into the center. You should be able to use a spinning Mukyang Jong and make it not spin. Because
I didn't even know that
because I
existed.
don't want the bad guy spinning around and throwing a rear elbow, a spinning backhand or whatever.
Yeah.
I want him closed in. Having multiple arms, okay, that's fine. Especially if you've got a big class, you could kind of use one post for several different people or something like that.
Sure.
That's another. Those are okay. Whether you've got spring-loaded arms or whatever, those are fine too. That's fine. But the spinning ones make no sense to me. But what do I have available? I have kicking bags. I have tie pads, medium length tie pads, short focus mitts, gloves, body gear, body protectors, shin guards. In my Okinawan days, we used Doin Men, the body protector, and the caged kendo gear. We used that for sparring. Do you need it? No. Any more than you don't need a kicking bag, but it's a good thing to have.
Yeah.
So, quite frankly, I mean, just moving forward, as I said to the last question, you should use whatever works for you.
Do you find that so like if we were to think of equipment as supplemental, right? So like if we could say that all equipment is technically supplemental, is there is there a piece of equipment that you would say to your students, if you want to reach a certain level in your training, this piece of equipment, this supplemental equipment will actually help you get to that level?
Well, okay, in the case of Wing Chun, that would be the Mukyang Jong. It's the only required thing. Okay.
Because there's forms on it that you have to learn, right?
If you're worried about what the art teaches and being able to replicate it and to teach it, yeah, you'd have to learn them.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have to go out and buy a good Mukyang Jong? No, you don't have to buy a good one. You can buy a crappy one, as long as you have somewhere where you can touch a decent one. Other than that, well, like, okay, Jeff, he recently, 6 years ago or so sold the Chuck Norris legs stretcher.
Yeah.
Oh, those are
Right?
great. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, great.
Yeah, great, especially
When you don't have a partner
if you
to do
don't-
it for
if
you,
you
they're
don't-
awesome. You just
yeah, especially if you don't care about your groin. But beside that, do you need it?
Right.
No.
No.
All of the fancy equipment that we have today that would be supplemental did not exist when these things were being codified early on. I tell people I want to get fit. That's why I want to. Look, if you want to get fit, just think like Jack LaLanne. Get yourself a chair and a broom. You're set. You're set. Learn to do jumping jacks. Learn to do splits. Learn it, whatever.
Go for a run.
I tell people all the time, get up in the morning, jog until you're tired, walk back home. Middle of the day, find something heavy, pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down,
Pick it
down.
up, walk with it,
Yeah, put
put it down. Pick it up, walk with it, put it down. We know now, and I don't know the entire study, so I'm not going to claim that I do, but we know now that your quality of life expectancy, like long life expectancy, is directly connected to your grip strength.
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing great.
So like, literally just pick stuff up, hold it,
Yeah.
carry it for a while,
Put it down.
and that will greatly enhance your quality of life
This
for
is
a lot
why
longer.
HEMA is the ultimate non-traditional workout you should do now.
I mean, pretty much any martial art that you
Grab.
hold and grab things.
Jujitsu.
Okay, let's take Wing Chun, where people are saying, "Oh, poor the Wing Chun guys are left out." No, Wing Chun comes from the Bat Cham Do. You have to grip them.
Yeah, true.
I got a set of Bat Cham Do in there. I defy you to do 20 hundos.
The heavy ones you got?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you want grip strength, all this week we are working Lap Sao. Lap Sao is a pull,
Yep.
which means I have to grab.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So, of the equipment that exists, supplemental equipment that exists, is there any that is necessary or that I require or that I would tell the student they have to have? No. There are a lot that I would say it might be nice. I often tell people, well, do I need gloves or whatever? Well, we don't punch that often as like we used to, but I'll say, there's this fellow called Santa Claus. And if, you need something, you wait and you tell Santa Claus. Rather than bitching about how expensive it is, and I just bought this, and I just bought, wait for Santa Claus.
Sometimes Santa Claus be bitching about how expensive it is,
If
though,
it's
too.
if it's too expensive for Santa Claus, then that's a different thing. But there is nothing, with the exception of a Mukyang Jong,
Yeah.
there is nothing supplemental
That you
in Wing Chun that you need that is that expensive.
Right.
And I would argue it's probably the same for Tang Soo Do. It is
Right.
like Definitely the same for BJJ. The most expensive thing in BJJ is the friggin' gi.
Oh God, yeah, the uniforms are like ridiculous.
I don't want to talk about it.
And
You
would
have to have our patch on our gi.
well, and
Hate
that
that.
becomes a school requirement thing. That's not a training requirement thing. That's not a learning requirement thing.
Yeah.
It would be
But if
perfectly.
you train gi jujitsu, you need a gi.
You can buy that Amazon gi,
Yeah,
but
you could buy the Amazon gi. You could train in the backyard with hoodies.
Yeah.
yeah, that would be
It's
more. That'd probably be
something-
better.
And then if
for
you train no gi,
self-defense.
you don't need a no gi. You need a rash guard and shorts and whatever.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
like,
Do you need the rash guard?
So if
Why-
you don't want a rash, you might want a rash guard.
Didn't people used to get rashes like real men?
I'm just gonna. I'm not even gonna answer
I'm
that.
gonna get my ringworm like a man.
So
You
so
don't really want one anymore.
no, you don't want one.
No.
So like if we're thinking about what makes martial arts similar, right? Is it seems to me like we all tend to require something to hit.
Join us next week for part 2.
All right. So what kind of equipment do you use and do you find required in your system? Let us know. And yeah, like, subscribe, comment, do all the things.
Yes. Share.
Share,
Comment. Comment is a big one.
comment.
YouTube really algorithms on comments.
And hit the notification bell so you know when we upload next. That's a big one every week.
There you go.
He told me to hit it, so I hit it.
Have a good week. We'll see you
Peace
next
out.
time.